Football is back. Thank you, God. We are back. Guys, welcome to Game Week 1's Premier League review with your boy Veer from Touches to Spare. We will have these weekly reviews for all of the top leagues, not just the Prem. So please tune in if you want to get the key takeaways for every single game week from your top leagues, and we're going to share it with you. We are so happy that football is back, just like all of you fans around the world. And of course, we start in the Prem, where we had everything: goals, action, additional time, controversy, which is why the bandana is on, commotion in the place. Everything we could have imagined and hoped for, we got. So let's start with defending champions Manchester City, who cruised to a 3-0 victory over Burnley. Of course, we had Erling Haaland on the double. He looked very comfortable, scoring 2 key goals. And of course, I had him as my pick for flop of the season. So please disregard that pick, because he obviously is going to be the top scorer and probably one of the top 2 players in the world. But another key takeaway here is Kevin De Bruyne went down injured, left the game early, and it seems that he'll have to have hamstring surgery. So he's going to be out for a few months. So it's going to be interesting to see what Man City does in the transfer window. They're linked with Lucas Paqueta, so it'll be interesting to see, like I said, the dynamic of who they go with. But I think their squad is deep enough and, of course, well coached, that they're going to continue their dominant run. So very good victory for them. Followed by runners-up last year, Arsenal, who also were able to earn a victory, not in the same style. They're able to beat Nottingham 2-1 in a very, very close-fought game. And people have been comparing the victories, which I think is unfair, because every single game in the Prem is difficult. Teams are very well coached, well organized, and I think the most important thing for Arsenal here is that they won the game. A bunch of new players coming in, most of them looked pretty good and fit pretty well, so I think it's just a work in progress at this point. Key for them is Timber, one of their new signings, also went down injured, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Moving on, Brighton, despite losing some key players and midfielders, McAllister, Caicedo, they were able to actually pull off a very good victory, convincing 4-1 over Luton. And a couple of new players there looked pretty fantastic. João Pedro, I think, is a good pick for fantasy football, fantasy Premier League. He looks like a key integral part of how they play now. And of course, veterans like James Milner fit extremely well. I mean, what a professional. Moving on, and my performance of the week, Newcastle United defeating Europe hopefuls, and a lot of people have Aston Villa as in a top 6 place. 5-1 Newcastle destroyed them actually. We had Alexander Isak with a double, Tonali on debut with a goal and looking phenomenal, fitting in very well in that midfield with those 2 Brazilians. And of course, we have depth in the squad, which I think was a lot of people's concerns with Europe coming up. Harvey Barnes came on with a goal and an assist. So really a lot of positives for Newcastle. What a performance. And they look like a very exciting team to watch this year. Then we had a Harry Kane-less Tottenham draw with an Ivan Toney-less Brentford 2-2. Not the most exciting game of the weekend, but interesting to see both teams and how they are surviving without their key man up top. I want to see what Tottenham does, if they leave Richarlison as their key number 9 this year, or do they dip into the transfer window before it closes and get another target man. We will see. But James Maddison had 2 assists in the game, so another good pick for fantasy football, I think. And he's also stepped into a leadership role from the very off that he's been there. So a key player to keep an eye on if he can stay fit, which I think is his key thing. Then, speaking of draws, we had, I think, the biggest game of the weekend. We had Liverpool play Chelsea to a 1-1 draw. And the key takeaway here is super exciting game. Both sets of fans, I think, will be hopeful for what the season ahead has to bring and offer, because a lot of new players, a lot of young players, and a lot of excitement and talent. Both teams played extremely well, and Chelsea just added a couple of key centre mids. Liverpool need to add a defensive midfielder to be able to challenge us here. So really amazing times ahead for both teams. Then Lastly, to round up the game week in terms of results, Manchester United were able to scrape a 1-0 victory over a very well coached Wolves team. And that's why this bandana is on, because controversially, Wolves were denied a penalty in the 96th minute after Andre Onana came out punching like Floyd Mayweather, and they were able to get away with one. But that's what football and sports and the Premier League is all about. So we are here for it. Lastly, we're gonna round up with our player of the week, and we do have a handful of options, some really amazing performances. TONALI, phenomenal debut, as I said, a goal, fit in well, helped control the pace of the game. Alexander Isak on the double in only 68 minutes for Newcastle. What a striker. He's challenging Haaland this year for top scorer. I can see it and feel it. We had Leno from Fulham, help keep a clean sheet, guide them to a 1-0 victory, and help control the entire backline throughout the game. Very vocal, amazing goalkeeper. We had James Maddison, like I said, 2 assists on his debut for Tottenham. He even stepped in as captain at the end of the game. He's officially vice captain with Christian Romero, and he ended up captaining because Christian Romero left injured and Son was subbed. So I think he's a very, very interesting and integral player this year for Tottenham if he can stay fit and stay free of injury. Erling Haaland on the double, and of course looks like the most dominant striker in the world, not just the Prem. So easy money and bet on goals and points for fantasy. But my player of the week goes to the one and only, the unsung hero, Rodri. I think a lot of times he's overlooked, but he's getting a lot more recognition now, which is amazing, because not only was this the first game he was able to score and have an assist, but he had the most touches on the ball, he had the most completed passes, he controls the tempo of the game for City, he is the engine room behind City. What a player, and he is going to be integral for them. He's literally the engine in the well-oiled machine that Pep has there. So we look forward to seeing his continued performances. And guys, what a game week. We are excited to be back. As I said, some big games coming up this week. So please, like I said, if you are enjoying these short versions of recaps for the most important and best leagues in the world, please tune in. We're on all platforms and we appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you guys in game week 2. Thank you so much.